Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. This is one and the only update I will give on the Iranian attack on Israel from yesterday. I discussed the missile attack, the Iranian missile attack on Israel yesterday, as it just happened. And right now I have about, 15 articles to discuss the aftermath and to give you an update. And after this I probably have nothing else to say, because all these 15, 18 articles that I have here tell enough to understand who's who, what's what. As in any investigation, if you want to find out the truth, you go and ask as many people as possible. Obviously, you are skeptical, but you document each and every response. In this case, I will try to go over a wide range of media outlets in order to figure out what one side says, what another side says, and another side says. So I'm not going to buy only the garbage these media operatives are vomiting on us here. I'm going to use some other media outlets that are really not doing a good journalistic work according to these operatives. So we're going to talk about what Iran says about the attack that occurred yesterday. We're going to see what kind of response is promised from Israel. We're going to discuss who was involved in defending the state of Israel and why. And it's very strange that there were only European, if you add the United States of America, countries involved in this and not others in defending Israel. And my question is why, and you very well know what the answer is. Then I have a question. Okay, if Iran attacked, Israel now considers that a declaration of war. Why didn't you answer back? What do you mean you're going to wait for about, 3 months to do your answer, to give? It's very strange kind of war. We're going to find out what countries were involved, what they did, what Iran told those countries, including warning the United States of America. I think the United States of America is preparing for a war with Iran, and that's not according to me only, according to American media outlet that prepares you and I and everybody else just to be understandable that the victims need to be helped. Now, who are the victims? Anyway, and then I'm going to have two articles, one from BBC, one from Sputnik, with two I think greatly contradictory reports on the attack of yesterday. So I'm going to show you what the Russians say about the attack, and I'm going to show you what BBC says about the attack. We're going to discuss the Iron Dome, the defense system, the Israeli defense system that is highly, hailed in the West and being fantastic. I've seen footage of the Iranian attack, and it's available, obviously, in certain areas. And I think it did a shitty job. I mean, remember, they say it's 99% or 100%. Far from that. I've seen explosions on the ground, not only in the air. I will have a proportion coming from the Iranians saying, oh, these many missiles hit the target, and they're warning to Israel. And Israel is warning towards Iran. Israel is going to go outside of international law, I think, because it declared the United Nations Secretary General as a persona non grata. That means you can't come in my country because you're a bad boy. Why? We got the Americans to fight for us. We don't need international law. I guess we'll find out. So let's start with the first. Maybe I missed a few little topics here in between. But let's start with the beginning, which is an article coming from Russia Today. Iran comments on Israel attack. Well, you want to find out not only what Israel says, according to Washington Post, New York Times, Wall Street Journal, or something like USA Today. You want to find out what those guys also say. That's how you do an investigation. And in a court of law, you ask both sides. All right, the missile strike is a response, according to the Iranians, to the Israeli killings of Hamas, Hezbollah, and IRGC leaders, Tehran had said. So this is what the Iranians said. We did it as a response. So Tuesday missile launch at Israel is Tehran's response for the recent assassinations of the leaders of Hamas, Hezbollah, and the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, the IRGC, has said. Now, Iran launched several hundred ballistic missiles according to the Israeli Defense Forces, which also claim to have shot down most of the incoming fire. Remember, most. Most would be like what? 80%, 90%? That's most. 90, I would say. And I'm quoting, in the response to the martyrdom of Ismail we struck at the heart of the occupied territories. Occupied territories, they say. And I'm quoting again the Iranians. If the Zionist regime responds to our attack, our next strikes will be more destructive, the statement added. And I'm quoting again the Iranians. Iran's legal, rational and legitimate response to the terrorist acts of the Zionist regime, which involved targeting Iranian nationals and interests and infringing upon the national sovereignty of the Islamic Republic of Iran, has been duly carried out. Should the Zionist regime dare to respond or commit further acts of malevolence, and subsequent and crushing response will ensure, the mission said in a statement post on X. So this is what the Iranians said about why they did it. Next one. How the Iron Dome is saving lives across Israel. Now this is according to the weasels from Telegraph. What was here? The first one, what they say? Israel Defense Forces claimed to have shot down most of the incoming fire. So these guys here, this is just a commercial for the Iron Dome. So they basically say that they did a great job. They don't tell you. They don't tell you how many they shot down. In total, Israel has 11 Iron Dome batteries. And with the threat of war breaking out in U.S. has reportedly pledged 2 more. So U.S., that's you and I, pledged to give that country 2 more batteries. All right. So in this article, you're not going to see how many were downed yesterday. I looked over, I read it, nothing, no proportion. Let's see what this is what I say. There are questions, however, moreover, on how the Iron Dome would stand up to a war on 2 or more fronts when Hamas fired roughly 300 rockets. This is rockets. Many got through by sheer force of numbers. A 90% success rate is a 10% failure rate, and the ratio may worsen under the heaviest barrage. So they talk about some stupid rockets, not missiles. All right, I'm looking for the number in this case. Nothing. This is the end of the article. So they're not going to tell you, but they tell you they do a good job. Yeah, they do a good job. Good for them, and I hope they protect lives, innocent lives. Move on. Sputnik, Iron Dome proved to be a bust, end quote. Iran strikes Israel in retaliation for assassination. And here we have a little report or statement, or let's put it, how do you call it, a correspondent who says that Iran launched a significant retaliation, responded, Tel Aviv attack. And what we see here, this is CIA, this is what I was looking for, I don't want to make a mistake. CIA analyst Larry Johnson, former CIA analyst. I suspect that he's going to have the same fate as someone else, Scott Ritter. The US will pay him a visit if they didn't yet. I've seen the videos, and I'm quoting, and you can see the missiles continue to rain down and hit targets. Israel is imposing a news blackout, end quote, former CIA analyst Larry Johnson said. And I'm quoting, they don't want the knowledge out there about what happened, but Iran made sure that it was not going to hit and run the risk of killing hundreds of thousands of Israeli civilians. So I saw the videos, I don't know what kind of videos Larry Johnson saw, but I saw videos, and indeed they did some damage. If I were to, just to give you my assessment of from the videos that I watched, how many were shot in the air, how many were exploded on the ground, I would say from the 15 videos I watched, or about between 10 and 15, I can't remember exactly how many. I think the proportion, my proportion of those short videos were about 60%, or in some videos 80%, 70% they were successful and the other ones were shot in the air. I would say in some videos they were 80%, 90% successful. Successful, hitting the ground and so on. Well, you go and watch those things and make your own assessment. Now, who came to Israel's help and why? All right, here it is. The New York Times. Allies say they come to Israel's aid during Iran's missile attack. Israel has said that Iran fired more than 180 missiles in the barrage on Tuesday, but that most were intercepted. 180 missiles. I listened yesterday to a guy called Patrick Ryder. He's the Pentagon spokesperson, because he's not a man, he's a person. And he said that this attack, the Iranians doubled the number from May or whenever the other one was launched by the Iranians. So remember, these guys say 80, fire 80. I'm going to have what the Iranians say and what Sputnik says, and it's much, much more than 180. That's the why I picked this one, so I can show you how the New York Times reports this. I'm not saying the other ones are right, but too big of a discrepancy. Next one. Netanyahu seeks to drag U.S. into war with Iran. Ex-Italian diplomat says. Isn't that obvious? Israel, we're already in. So, Israeli Prime Minister, let's see who's this. Dr. Marco Carnelos, former Italian diplomat and Middle East advisor to Prime Minister Prodi and Berlusconi, told Sputnik, Netanyahu is probably provoking the Iranian leadership to react, to have a further justification to hit the country and, ideally, to draw the U.S. to join Israel. I think that would be a case. Now, we don't have here anything else, but Netanyahu claimed that Iran made a big mistake on October 1 and will pay for it. Next article, BBC. UK forces involved in response to Iran attacks on Israel. This imbecile, with less than 18% of the people who voted in Great Britain, he's the Prime Minister. Remember, the English political system or election system is based on a winner takes it all. That is, in an area where I win with, let's say, 10% and everybody is below, 7, 2, 1, 5, 2, 3, 4. I win that area with what? 10%. 10% of everybody else. So this is my imperium, the right to rule with 10% in the area. So Starmer, the appointed Prime Minister of Great Britain, but hey, they're a democracy with a king not voted for and a Prime Minister not voted for. He's appointed by the party who wins. The winner takes it all. So remember, these guys in the last elections got 18 point something percent of the people who voted. So this is the entire electorate. Let's say 60% voted. And from the 60%, 18% voted for this party. So 18% of 100, if this is 60, I would say that this guy rules with about 10% or let's say 12% of the entire electorate. 12% of the entire adult population is eligible to vote. Now, if you add everybody else who is not eligible, that will turn to about what? 3%, 4%. So 4% of the Brits picked the party that then appointed this imbecile in charge of your country. Is that democracy? I thought democracy is the rule of the people. The people rule. 12%, 18%. How much do I need to give this Starmer? 18, not even 18. 18 of the people who voted, not the whole electorate, is garbage. But hey, they lecture everyone on democracy and freedom. It's such hypocrisy. So this guy says that you, the Brits, you will fight to, right there, to defend this country. I wonder why. Well, we know. Go to the Balfour Declaration, and that's one good start for you. Next one. Britain committed to Israel's security. Prime Minister Starmer tells Netanyahu. So this imbecile, in the name of the British nation, which is Irish, right? It is English, it is Scottish, and Welsh. This guy, and if I miss someone, I apologize. I don't include people that are not British. This says, in the name of all of you, we are committed. We are committed. So don't you think that there will be a little blowback? Not that kind of job. Blowback to you? Like you have those guys, which are the other guy's enemy. Don't you think that you expose your nation to some problems because you help someone? And what are the countries that will support Israel actively? So far, and I'm going to show you, are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, no, 1, 2, 3, 4, so about 4 countries. I will show you, not even 4, not even 4. All right, let's move on to the next article. Let's see what we say in our name, what is said in our name. The Telegraph says, U.S. promises severe consequences after Iran attacks Israel. After Iran attacks. So not only before, but also after they attacked, we, our country, tell another country that will face severe consequences for attacking another country. So that means we are going to be involved. That means at war with Iran. I mean, these guys like to always punch, preferably with someone else's children and husbands and fathers, and then they stay over there. They just support it with money, and this as well as they make money with the military-industrial complex and so on. But they like to help, always help with someone else's being like in Ukraine, for instance. So now they will say, we're going to face consequences. What Iran will do? Okay, bring it on. That's exactly what Iran says. Bring it on. If you do it, we're going to fuck you up. What will your government, the US government, do? They will do it, I guarantee you. I guarantee you these guys will get directly involved, not only in shooting down, as they did, Iranian missiles that was attacking the Jewish state. Not only that, they will get involved even more. You'll see, that's a prediction. And what Iran will do? What do you think Iran will do? Do you think Iran are baboons? I don't think so. They are what, 80-some million people? Anyway, let's move on. It's not Iran, it's not Iraq, obviously, or Libya, 4 million people. We like to jab with these guys. Well, we'll see if we're going to jab with those guys. I think we should not jab with anybody unless we are attacked. But since the United States of America, is grabbed by the balls by this little tiny fuck-up thing, then this is it. So, promises. Tehran launched ballistic missiles onslaught in significant escalation of conflict in the Middle East. What was before this? Weren't that significant escalations? With assassinations and ground invasion in Lebanon? How do you call a ground invasion in Lebanon with tanks and infantry and all that? Isn't that a declaration of war? Isn't that a violation of a sovereign independent state? Isn't it? And if not, why not? Why not? Well, But makes sense when I'm going to tell you more. Here, next one. Israel and US agree on a limited invasion. But for how long? So as I said yesterday in my video, it's a limited, forever limited. So it's a limited invasion, like the Russians. The Russians call their invasion a special military operation. And these guys are the so-called special military operation. Yeah, it is a special military operation because it's not the full, Russian population asked to go and fight. Like, 30 million people ready to go, general mobilization. So again, limited. Now, if you say, wait, Emil, is just a limited. Okay, how about someone rapes you limited? About, 120 pumps. Not 3,000 as, no, just about 150. It's limited for a limited period of time. We don't know how the frequency will be, but it's going to be limited. Promised. Now, what is limited? Instead of being 1,000 years, it's going to be 800 years. It's limited. Limited doesn't say it's short. It says it's limited by a time. We're going to stop one day. That's limited. So don't be fooled by these baboons telling you, putting the right words, limited invasion. We have to. You have to. All right, let's move on. So both these countries are involved in an invasion of a sovereign country, which is Lebanon. Are we violating international law? I'll let you be the judge on that one. The answer is clear. So far, Israel assault on Hezbollah in Lebanon has progressed. We just fight Lebanon. They just fight Lebanon, and we fight those terrorists, okay? The operation's political objective is clear: to make things safe enough that some 63,000 Israeli citizens can return to their homes along a 75-mile border with Lebanon. Didn't the Russians say that they are invading Ukraine to make sure that they are safe and their Russian-speaking population in Ukraine is safe? Why this is not acceptable, but that is acceptable. We are all equal, but some are more equal than others. Let's move on. Right here, the precise military objectives, however, had not been publicly revealed. I can reveal them, not on YouTube, obviously. Let's move on. BBC, US says it helped Israel shoot down Iranian missiles. So that means our military engaged their military, another country's military. How do you call this? How do you call this? I mean, my military sends missiles, engages another country, and another country engages my missile, which is my military. So it's one-on-one. How do you call this? How do you call this? So let's say I'm coming and let's say I'm the bad dude and I want to punch someone in the face real hard, okay? So you go over there and you want to punch and you start punching and the person blocks a little bit here and there, and then a third country, a third person comes and blocks for him. What are you going to do? Well, since I cannot hit you the way I want, really, and you are helping them, how about I get rid of you first? Bang! And then I turn around and bang these guys. Wouldn't you do that? Or you just say, okay, my pussy hurts, my bad. I'm going to go back then, turn around, take my pants down, and I let you both use all my holes. Correct? No, incorrect. Let's move on. Now, it depends what kind of person you are, obviously. Next one. This imbecile right here, Major General Patrick Ryder, the spokesperson, says US intercepted missiles from Iran. And I said that intercepted, that means we got in a war with Iran. How do you call that? How do you call that? How would you call that? Direct contact, that kind of contact, mind you. Let's move on. Here, insider. US Navy warships fired interceptors at Ukrainian missiles targeting Israel. And nobody has a problem with that. Nobody's like, wait a minute. We hit someone else's missiles in a war. No. It's like, yeah, it's a given. What if, let's say, the Americans, let's say, would shoot some missiles at some target somewhere, and the Iranians will shoot those missiles? How do you think we will view that? It's a war right there. I guarantee you that would be. And it's interesting. Look at this sign language woman here. Oh my God, look at that. Jesus Christ, man. We have to do it like that. What do you see? I tell you what I see. In Romania would be a bârnă. A long beak. Anyway, whatever, man. She's right there. She's the White House. Pop. She's the one. Well, we are all surrounded. Navy ships, warships, 2 of them, according to this baboon right here, is that 2 destroyers fired intercepted missiles. I think it's just a declaration of war. Next one. France, woohoo! Asseyez-vous, s'il vous plaît. France helps down Iran missiles. Germany sees a risk of region ablaze. So this baboon also is grabbed by the balls. So far we got 3 imbeciles. And why? The Canadians did not do anything yet. The imbecile Trudeau did not do anything yet. Hey, Trudeau, come over. You missed the coverage. You have to be over there too as a tough guy. 40 million people, Canada, out of which 10 million are newly immigrants, I would say. So that is what? Canadians, you fucked your country. You did. And you continue to do it. Why? You got some traitors out there. Now, we got United States of America, we got Great Britain, we got France. You see? These guys. Why these guys? Why not, let's say, Zimbabwe? Why not, I don't know, Namibia? Why not, I don't know, Brazil? Why not someone else? Why the Anglo-Saxons plus the French baboons intervened? Why is that? Someone's owned. First, the Europeans don't owe Israel anything. Yeah, I don't owe anything to them. You don't owe, unless you are just, masochist and you want to do it. I don't owe them anything. The guys who did something to someone else were punished, unless you can exhume them, take them out of the grave. And then do what? Nothing, or desecrate their graves. So that's gone. These guys keep that alive. Don't be fooled into feeling any guilt, any obligations, any. Anyway, let's move on. I'm not saying you should not help, but what are the risks and for what? I mean, here things are painted like white and black. They're not like that, not like that. And we jumped all, use our countries, our military we expose our citizenry to danger, to risk. For what? I don't want to expose myself for those guys over there whatsoever. I want to expose my life for this country, for these people, but for them, no. If you want, go ahead. Nevertheless, let's move on. Business Insider. The US military is bracing for a fight with warships and more aircraft as further violence grips the Middle East. This is from yesterday. So this is the right there, October 1st, 2024. So what does that mean? The US military is bracing for, so it's getting ready for a fight, for a war with warships and more aircraft. So it's getting ready to fight a war where? In the Middle East. For whom? We will be at war. We will be, now, will it be declared or undeclared? If it's undeclared, these guys cannot really institute a martial law, can they? Can they institute or emergency powers to the presidency and so on? Can they do that? And if they do that, your liberties, go and work, shut the fuck up. Basically, put your mask on, get your boosters, and stay in your basement. Drive your car alone with your mask on, and all that garbage, you know. So, what do you think? That's a clear preparation for you and I. When that happens, and it already happens, we engaged another country militarily. That's what it was. So the Americans threatened the Iranians threatened the Americans, and the Israelis threatened the and we are involved. Do you want to be involved? I don't want to be involved. What could happen? Well, I think Iran has multiple ways of unfortunately hurting us, but these guys take a chance. Why? They're not going to hurt them. You're going to hurt us. So go and buy your toilet paper again and get ready. Now, let's see what Israel has to say after this attack. Remember, they are the victims here. Israel to respond to Iran's attack with severity, Israeli foreign minister. So that is, bracing for a fight with warships and more aircraft. As further violence grips. Well, it's going to be right there. So Israel will say, we're going to fuck you up. All right, let's move on. Iran's foreign minister on missile strike on Israel. Tehran warned US not to interfere. Warned it. Not this baboon. But what is the United States doing? Is getting ready to fight. So what is going to happen? So Tehran said, don't interfere. The US already did and will even more. Tehran has sent Sweden a message for Washington saying that Iran's missile attack on Iran on October 1st was Iran's right to self-defense, while the Iranian side has separately warned the US not to interfere, Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi said on Wednesday. Alright, so this is what he said. An exchange of messages does not mean the existence of agreements, and before the response of Iran to Israel actions in the region, there was no exchange of messages. After the response, a warning was issued to Sweden to pass it on to the United States. And it was said in this message that the missile attack against Israel was our right to self-defense, and we have no intention of continuing the strikes. We also issue a warning to the United States to step aside and not to interfere. This guy, end quote, this guy said, US will not step aside. Israel will hit inside Iran. US will make sure that Israel can hit inside Iran. Maybe the Americans will help them in doing that. If Iran will retaliate, then the Americans will directly hit Iran. That's a very possible, I said the most probable scenario. My question is this. What kind of war is this when I launch some missiles, you just defend yourself. Then you wait, and then you attack. And the other ones just defend. And then the other ones, they don't want an escalation or something. I mean, in a wars like this, I attack. Why is no counterattack? Why weren't the Israelis counterattacking? Isn't that strange? It did not happen so far. A few months ago, when Iran did the same thing with, no, not that many missiles, the same. Iran attacked, this guy just defended. It was not a counter. Why wasn't? And if it was a counter, why not the other way? Let's say when Israel killed that guy in Tehran and so on, hit inside Iran. Why Iran did not immediately do it? They're not ready? They need time to calculate, to prepare, to now, and then when they do that, like the old times with the string, zoom, boom, like cannons. Jesus Christ. Isn't that strange? Oh, they don't want to escalate? Eventually they will get to it, you'll see. So, let's see what these guys did. Iran foreign minister phones European counterparts after attack. Why? And who are the counterparts? Let's see. Iran foreign minister spoke on the phone with European colleagues. They're colleagues. You see how colleagues these guys are? That, where is the baboon? They're so colleagues that these guys were involved and they vowed they will defend. And then the Americans did what they did, US promises. But these are not the Europeans. We got, where is the other baboon? Well, come on, Macron, show your ugly mofo. Right there. So these guys are these the partners again? We'll see, right? After the country's missile attack on Israel. Spoke with German foreign minister, oh my God, infantile Annalena Baerbock. I can tell you what Annalena Baerbock told him. Israel has the right of self-defense, and you are the aggressor, and we condemn your attack, and we, together with our allies, we're going to make sure that we defend the Jewish state because it's in self-defense and it's all you. Guarantee you. I was there as a fly. Yeah, Jesus Christ. And here we have the missile attack, completed, colleagues. Okay, Annalena, then UK, France, and other countries, according to Iranian news. So they spoke with France, UK, and with Germany and others. Let's move on. We got 3 more articles. Israeli foreign minister declares UN Secretary General persona non grata, bans entry. So that means if I have the power, and I have it because right now I have the 3 baboons involved, my orders, which is United States of America, Great Britain, France. Since I have these guys, I don't need any mandates. Nothing. I don't need United Nations. I haven't implemented 242 for what? 60 years already almost, right? Why do I need that? So they said, you know what, United Nations, we don't recognize your authority here. And the Americans zip it because they're going to get a little slap from their masters. Tel Aviv, Israeli authorities slammed UN chief for his stance on Middle East crisis. We all this and all that. Remember the perpetual victims that they are. Israel declares UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres persona non grata and bans entry to the country. Israeli Foreign Ministry Katz said Wednesday, that he has declared UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres persona non grata in Israel, banning him from entering the country. This decision was made in light of Guterres' reaction to Iran's heinous attack on Israel, in which he participated and did not unequivocally condemn this serious aggression. So he was supposed to condemn it, obviously. Katz accused Guterres of failing to condemn the Iranian missile attack, stating that he, and I'm quoting, does not deserve to step foot on Israeli soil. And it's Israeli soil? Yeah. All right, so now you have it. You're not with me, that means you're my enemy. That's how they function. You're with me, move on, come over, basically. Not to my belly, below. Let's go to the last, not the last one, but I got 2 more. Let's look at Sputnik and BBC, slightly different reporting on the attack and on some numbers. I'm going to give you the numbers and the percentages provided by the Iranians and then the other guys who are just not giving you squat. Sputnik. What is known about Iran's missile attack on Israel? I'm not saying this is accurate. I'm just bringing it to you and figured it out. Iran fired some 400 ballistic missiles into southern and central Israel, according to Jerusalem Post. So this is from Jerusalem Post. Didn't they say like somewhere about 200 or 180? Wasn't that the number? Where is that? 180, wasn't it? Where are you, baby doll? Come on, show your face. Right there. 180 missiles. This is how much these guys did. And this is, where is that? Right, this is from October 7th. This is from today at 6:57 a.m. So these guys today said that it's 100, more than 180. How many? 3,000? Or 3, billion. 180, probably they'll say 105, 190. That's about it. I would say, otherwise they would say 190 or more than. So these guys say, well, some 400 ballistic missiles. So missiles with missiles. The strike itself was ordered by Supreme Leader Pop. Okay, let's see. A second wave of Iranian missile attack on Israel followed the first one, Iranian ILNA news agency report. So there were 2 waves of missiles. Aftermath. 2 people were pip. Now, Iran's Fars News claimed that 80% of missiles in Iran's first wave attack hit their targets, citing unnamed informed sources. This is according to the guys of the first wave. The other ones, let's say they were hit all of them. That means you can get to 50 or something. Iranian missiles hit gas platforms in Israel. Pop. So this is what it is, my friends. 80%, and we have 400. Where is it? Some 400. So 390, 410, or 8. This is what it is. This is according, right? According to Jerusalem Post. They can't lie. Only big lie. They don't deal with garbage, small garbage. And let's see the other guys. BBC. What we know about Iran's missile attack on Israel, according to BBC. This is from yesterday at 10:41 p.m. So 11 p.m. All right. Iran has launched hundreds of missiles. They don't tell us how many. All right. And they say what was the scale of Iran attack? Iran launched around 100 missiles towards Israel. Got it? The Israeli military said that would make it slightly larger attack than April barrage, which saw about 110 ballistic missiles and 30 cruise missiles fired towards Israel. This baboon, where is he? Let me show you. Not that one. This one, he claimed in his communique, Pentagon rider is in the sky, Ghost Rider in the sky, what's his name? Patrick, the general, he said doubled. So the yesterday attack was double the one that Iran did in April. 110 and 30, 140. So it should be about 300. Footage appeared missing flying, pop, boom. Let's see, what, why? Now this tell you how these guys are bad. We're not gonna look over that. Where were the missiles stopped by Iron Drone? Iron Drone, I told you. It doesn't say. It doesn't say how many they intercepted. And they just show you this guy, and they're fantastic. How have Israel's allies reacted? And we have the U.S. baboon. Then we have, obviously, the Lloyd Austin. And then we have, I told you, the Defense Secretary John Haley, British forces. Okay, so, Sir Prime Minister, France, and Japan added their voices. What happens next? I tell you what happens next. Israel will hit first. They will continue their invasion of Lebanon, limited, 1,000 years. Will they give back the territories they will occupy? All right, that's my prediction on that one. They will create a buffer zone. Exactly like the Russians say they want to create in Ukraine, a buffer zone. But Russian buffer zone in Ukraine is not good. It's against the law. But this one it is. You know what? Because Israel has the right to self-defense. Russia doesn't have such a thing. Why? Because Russia was never attacked. Never. But Israel was. But should we go to 1948? What do you mean, Emil? Well, use your brain and get some information on that one. Where's the other state? Weak. Anyway, so that's what's going to happen. These guys are going to, Israel will hit inside Iran. Iran will retaliate the Americans will get involved together with Jackal's France and Great Britain. Probably Germany will also be pushed in. Maybe some Poland, I don't know, if with the boats or something. I know they have Russian submarine or something, 2 or 3. So anyway, they will do it. And then Iran will hit American targets. They will hit American assets in the Middle East. And America will claim we will have to defend ourselves in self-defense. And you're going to be at war with Iran. Now, what should you do? Whenever you have an issue like this, first you say, what could be under my control? Obviously, these guys make decisions without asking you. So why bother being upset? Why bother being stressed about it? Well, you're stressed because you don't like, the situation, innocent people die, and you know that's garbage, and you're supposed to look at the garbage as being fantastic, and it's not. So it could be, a personal moral fight in your head, trying to have cognitive dissonance, and oh my God, what should I do? And no, it's clear who's who, what's what. The problem is we are going to be affected. You're going to go and vote. Maybe you're not going to vote. Remember, Trump, in those 4 years of his dictatorship, let's put it this way, as these guys tell us, even though he didn't do squat, he was not allowed to do squat, anything over there. The United States was not involved in a war. There was no war around. That was here and there, but not like this guy. So these guys do what they do best, which I'm talking about not only the Democrats. Trump is an outsider. So the Republicans with Bush did the same thing as these guys, the Democrats, do. Trump was somewhere in between. And there was no war. That's why we have to hate him so much. We have to go to the same ball game. Republicans, 4 years or 8 years. The Democrats, 4, 8 years, whatever. We're going to be 49-51 all the time. Like it's suspense. We're going to fight. We're going to have two opposite sides that fight for your freedom to protect you and protect the state of and so on. The same garbage. And the mass media, the operatives, will infiltrate, as they already are, YouTube and other platforms. That's how they call them. They get fired from, their big money business, the CNN, Fox and all that. And then they get into YouTube, and immediately they have, they're going to be the ones that will be promoted by YouTube's algorithm and others. And you're going to see these guys growing somehow because they're personalities. And they will parrot the same thing they did on CNN, MSNBC, and so on. It's just a Trojan horse. These guys are sent on a mission. They're going to dilute YouTube because YouTube will promote these guys, but not people that tell more than these guys are lying. So this is what's going to happen. Prepare, my friends. Iran possibly could create problems here in the United States of America. Not big enough to be worried about. What are you going to do? Stay in your basement? Live your life and go on. What happens, happens. After all, if you're a believer, you're going to meet God sooner. So happy day. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.